encourage me on, we can do it. The poets are Rachel Blaustein and Leah Goldberg. Rachel is a tragic and romantic hero of Zionism. She was born in Russia in 1890, studied, was pretty well traveled, and emigrates to Palestine in 1909. She becomes a strident Zionist and works on the kibbutzim and loves the land to death. She decides to study agronomy in France, goes to France to study, gets caught up in World War I, and is not able to return to Israel, Palestine, until 1919, where shortly after she's diagnosed with tuberculosis. And at that time it's incurable. She dies in Tel Aviv in 1931 at the age of 40. Most of her poetry was written in Hebrew in Palestine. And it was published in the weekly periodicals of the time, and that's how she became very famous. Her poems are known for their simplicity, their briefness of language, their nature and pastoral themes, and deep feelings, especially of longing and loss. Leah Goldberg was a fantastically prolific poet and writer. She was born in East Prussia in 1911. She spoke several languages, including Hebrew, by the age of 10. She's educated in Germany, emigrates to Palestine with a PhD in 1935, settles in Tel Aviv, and immediately becomes part of the literati circle. She works as a teacher, a reporter, a publisher, eventually a university professor. She's a successful children's author, theater critic, translator, and editor. In 1952, she establishes the Department of Comparative Literature at Hebrew University and remains the chair head until her death in 1979. Her poetry on the surface looks very, very uncomplicated, but it's extremely and deeply sophisticated, especially with regard to the rhyme and the meter. Themes include nature, longing for her childhood homeland, which was not Israel, but in fact the Ukraine. Loneliness, love, aspects of childhood lost, and aspects of Israel. The poems that I handed out, should we go on with the poems? Do you want to read them? Okay, let's do it. And we'll only read the first parts. To My Country by Rachel, 1926. I've not sung to you, my country, not brought glory to your name with the great deeds of a hero or the spoils of battle yields. But on the shores of the Jordan, my hands have planted a tree, and my feet have made a bed ready for your fields. What's that? Don't blow the rest of my talk. Thank you. Leah Goldberg, Tel Aviv, 1935. How did the air of that small city find a way to bear so many memories of childhood? Lovers shed, rooms empty somewhere. Couple thoughts for me on studying the poets and their poetry. I am struck by the sadness of Rachel's poems. So many of her poems express such longing that after we read them in class, there were tears in our eyes and a heaviness in our heart that was portrayed. It was just, the emotions were very, very intense for us to feel that. I was saddened at the fact that she died nearly penniless, alone, childless, in Tel Aviv at such a young age. I was also saddened to learn that Leah Goldberg, who was a brilliant and a prolific writer, was marginalized as a child's book author for a while. Luckily, those attitudes have changed. I was struck by the beauty of both the women's poetry. Both the women were able to capture a fluidity in a language that was not their own. They adopted it, but it was not their native language. I am struck by the love the women had for the land of Israel, and so much so that the Israeli people have taken those poets and adopted them so deeply and ingrained it into their literature. And as Maya was saying, they're Ilana introduced us to so many songs that were written, especially to Raphael's poetry, that were so magnificent and so beautiful and so beloved by Israelis, that their mark, the mark of these poets is very strong today. I found out when I was doing a little bit of research that in April of 2011, the Israeli Bank announced that Raphael and Goldberg were chosen as 2 of 4 great Israeli poets whose portraits will grace a new Israeli shekel banknote, hopefully, to be seen over the next couple of years. I'd like to thank you so much for such an amazing year of study and learning and shreach to you. May you go from strength to strength.